Okay, to give you a little bit of update, these are our raspberries. They're starting to pop up. We have our water systems there, and we've sprayed the weeds in between, and you can see they're starting to yellow. And of course the flower bed that I did. This is going to be a little bit bouncy as I walk over uneven ground. You can see some of them are starting to come up, and we've got some pink flowers popping up there. Yep, so the lilac transplants are doing good. So then we've got the currants along the fence back there, and we've got some of the agricultural fabric down around them to keep the weeds down. And then here we've got the raspberries. Oh, and here comes Pastor Sergey. He's done tealing in the back garden where we're going to plant corn. We use corn on the cob for our rabbits. So here is empty. This is where the peppers are going to go, the okra, some early cabbage and late cabbage. And then you can kind of see the string there at the end of the trellis. And on the right, we planted the rest of the onions, and we planted some carrots, but probably the last 10 to 15 feet will be all squash, because we're going to use a lot of that. So today we did the rotohoe. We call it a yojik or a hedgehog between the garlic. You can see them back there. And I've got the water system on for the strawberries here. Now Mark is coming in. He's going to teach Sergey how to take the tiller off the back of the tractor and then put on the seeder. So here you can see the strawberries, and the water system is underneath the fabric, so the water doesn't evaporate, and it's going to...
See those leakers there?
Yeah, I see a couple.
That means grass is going to grow.
Yeah. Looks like, yes, definitely some leaking. And you can see that Mark has been working on the fence here. This is going to be our new compost area in here. And where the compost is, we're going to empty that out, and we're going to add some more fruit trees. So here you can see a little bit better the garlic and how it's growing. Let me walk out there. So we're going to lose a little bit of our space here of our garden, but we're renting enough and have our other garden of our own that it's not a worry. So let me see if I can get out here without falling. So here you can see how pretty it is. And pretty much we just use the hedgehogs or rotohoes to loosen up the dirt a little bit and go ahead and kill the weeds that might be starting. And over here is a little, I think maybe one row of garlic and then onions. So you can see that they're not quite as tall. They're a little bit different. Now today, one of the things that we're doing is, well, first we're going to be planting potatoes in here a little bit, and then a couple rows of squash. Squash rows will be in between the garlic, because by the time we harvest the garlic, it'll be time to start harvesting the squash, and we'll have a path because the garlic will be gone. So all this in here is going to be potatoes, and it just kind of gives us the signal of what's going on in our big field with our with all the other potatoes. But here what we're going to do is we're going to seed about 8 rows of red beets, and when we run out of red beet seed, we're going to have the fodder beets. And then Pastor Sergey was also tilling over in the garden that we are renting over here, the one that we're hoping to buy, and we're going to do a small section over there of the corn. So anyway, that's kind of the home garden. We've got our other garden is planted already with barley. Another one that we rent from a man in the village is planted with barley. And another one that we rent from a woman, or actually that one she gives us free to use. She just wants someone to use the garden. We planted barley there. And then our other garden that we rent is with grass and alfalfa. And so we've kind of fertilized that. And we have a little bit of alfalfa back here that we cut for the rabbits. It's kind of hard thinking about this stuff and thinking about it in Ukrainian and then speaking in English. So anyway, we've got a lot of the garden planted. The beets and the corn will go today, and then we have to wait for another week or so, and then we can plant the potatoes. And then after that, when it warms up just a little bit more, we'll plant all pumpkin back here where we don't plant corn. Lots of pumpkin, and then the squash here, and then we'll get the seedlings for the tomatoes and the peppers. The tomatoes will be on the trellis. We'll plant cucumber seeds on one of the trellis. And then we'll do the okra and late cabbage, early cabbage. The kitchen garden has already been all planted. Just got 2 empty spots for a second seeding of the radishes and a second seeding of lettuce. Now we went ahead and sprayed a weed killer. It does not affect the dirt, it just affects the leaves and then kills down to the roots. And so you can see here where we're going to plant the tomatoes this year. We'll hang the trellises. This is already starting to die. And then we also recently sprayed over here. Oh yeah, look how it's kind of yellowing. Yeah, I'm not sure if the spray is going to work on this wild radish. These little white flowers here, they're a real pain. There's not much that kills them. You generally have to pull them up. So yeah, they don't look like they're yellowing. But we'll turn all this over with a shovel, which will be really easy. And we'll hang the trellises and we'll put out the soaker hoses. So we've got hoses this year. Let's see, we'll do cucumbers on this side because we had tomatoes last year. And then we'll do the tomatoes over here. And we've got the watering system. So we just expanded it to the strawberries, to the raspberries, and to the currants this year. So anyway, that's an update on the gardens for right now.